Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to what I like to call Real People, Real Healing. This is DocStar TV, and I'm Dr. Daryl Wolf, and we're doing actual consultations. I'd like to do about 2 or 3 every week. We will then save these consultations, and these consultations will go into the BraveHeart Nation Library on docofdetox.com. If you click on library, you can go into the Real People, Real Healing Guide, and you can watch these, and we will eventually have a list of everything from A to Z, different surgeries, different so-called autoimmune diseases when there are no diseases. There are just chronic symptoms of people being mistreated, not treated or trained on how to learn how the body messages you and tells you to get back into alignment and harmony, but you've been ruled, screwed, and fooled, okay, by the systems out there because they're selling you off by the pound. And I'm going to do my very, very best to be as truthful and honest and loving and give you as much information on every symptom, because everything from a pimple to a tumor is a symptom. And that is the God's truth. I don't expect you to believe me. I don't expect you to trust me. I expect that maybe I can earn your trust over time, okay? And the reality is I get it, okay? All right? Many people have made promises, told you that, if you did this, you'd get this. And even when you were younger, you were told that, you can have anything you want if you work hard. No, that's wrong. Don't work hard, work smart. And to work smart, you're going to have to not think or do anything that the majority does. If I could give you one tip, don't do anything the majority does. Don't eat what they eat. Don't drink what they drink. Don't think what they think. Don't do what they do, because they'll end up screwing you. And I'm meaning that. You need to get it. Love everyone, but don't like everyone's beliefs. Love everyone, but don't like everyone's beliefs. Hate no one, but you don't have to like a belief. And if you don't like a belief, then focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And the reason why you have what you don't want is because you focus on not wanting it. So understand, that's how the universe works. You are a walking, talking antenna. What you put out comes back. What you put out comes back. Okay? I'm telling you, in the last 3 years, my life has been more amazing, because when these psychos decided they were going to shut things down, flip things upside down, turn things inside out, I said, no, I'm going to have an inner standing. Okay, this is my planet, damn it. I'm going to own it. I'm going to stay in the present moment. I'm going to prove to all my patients, all my family, all my friends that during the worst thing that could ever happen on the planet, that I am going to create more, love more, live more. And that's the deal. It's not just a thought. How many people know, a fun fact Friday, that people are 11% more happier on Friday than any other day of the week? That's the truth. The reality is, it's not just a thought, because a thought can make you rot, a thought can make you heal. And that is a really big deal. If you could just understand that your subconscious will create your healing or create your death. And for most of you, you're going to have a slow, painful death. So buckle up, baby, if you don't understand that the only thing you need to expand is your mind. The only thing you need to do is get in the conscious moment, know it as much as possible, because the majority of the population, and how's this? How about 99 out of 100 people are only in the present moment 2% of the day? Now, what can you create new in 2% of the day? How can you heal in 2% of the day? Well, you're not going to. The reality is understand, your family, your friends, they're not going to get what they want. But guess what? The most important thing that you can do is to become centered into self, not self-centered, and focus on what you want. And I'm saying you do not care what your family thinks, what your friends think, what the majority thinks. If you are doing no harm and you have unconditional love for yourself, that is all you need. The rest is a bunch of BS. You do not listen to anybody else's belief systems. You hold the line. This is my message. I am not going to change it, because I have proven with this message with tens of thousands of people, because I have actually did whole life coach programs on tens of thousands of people, and their lives are changed forever. I am not taking the credit. They had to go and crack the coconut and drink the juice of unconditional love when their family and their friends were trying to stop them from doing it, because guess what? Whether you believe it or not, you could love someone, but if they get beliefs that are different than you, okay, you feel threatened. No, not you, not your spirit, not your heart, but your mind, because it's a landmine. And guess what? Your subconscious fears everything until you become a BraveHeart hero. And that's it. So why do you have zero? Because you're not a BraveHeart hero. Why do you have zero? Because you pretend to be everyone, doing everything else except minding your own business, finding your passion, finding your purpose, and going for it, no matter what anybody says. Your wife, your husband, your children, the world. I don't care. And also, just know this, what used to scare me doesn't scare me. I'm not scared of any system. I'm not scared of the police, the military, the government. I'm not looking for a fight either. Okay? Let them be right. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be healthy. And also, guess what? I'll always be wealthy. Wealthy because guess what? I'm not a consumer. I don't have to go consume things. I don't have a lot of needs, because I've learned how to love myself. When you love yourself, you will not be so materialistic. You will not be so poverty conscious. You will not be so, oh my God, when I'm this age, I'll have this, and when I'm this age, I'll have that. I am not a statistic. I am Daryl Wolf. I am an original. I will decide how I feel. I will decide what goes on. And I've put this out, and I'll keep putting it out because it's a message you need to know. You will never hear of Dr. Wolf with heart disease, cancer, diabetes, or any autoimmune disease, because I will not attack myself on an emotional level to have something happen on a physical level. You're only sick because of sick beliefs. You're not sick because you're sick. You have sick beliefs that aren't yours. You got to understand, all we got to do is get some sick beliefs into your head, and you'll be in bed for the rest of your life. Well, at least you know what you'll be doing. You'll be struggling. You'll work your butt off till you're 50, and then everything will start to fall apart, and then we'll drain your bank account, okay? That's what goes on. The same people that poisoned you, the same people are going to take your money from you. You know, I really am quite proud of myself, in a way, because I left the herd a long time ago, and I look for things, okay, that really work. People stopped being logical a long time ago. Let me tell you, I expect logic from nobody anymore, because it's so easy to program the subconscious. And only 1 out of 10,000 people will finish this game properly. What that is called unconditional love for oneself and for the world. And I didn't say I did it yet, so just know that. But the reality is when it comes to health and when it comes to wealth, I've nailed it. I'll be setting up a university in Puerto Rico. We'll have 3 doctorates that we're offering, but we also offer a lot of other courses. We'll be bringing in master courses that you can take online. But also we're setting up our own bank. We also have a program that the elite use. They think they're pretty smart in hiding it, but there's 6 people in North America that know how to do this. And I've probably brought through over 100 people now that only pay 4% tax or 0 tax, and nobody can do anything about it. The IRS, the Canadian revenue, the Chinese revenue, doesn't matter where in the world. Puerto Rico is the loophole of the universe when it comes to our planet. And understand something, you got to get the loophole for everything. You've got to break away from the majority. You know what? The tax man doesn't get my taxes, and I can say it easily. I don't avoid taxes. I just give them what they deserve. Absolutely nothing. Say it again. And the reality is this, oh, I know, but then I'm a bad guy because I could have fixed the roads and the hospitals. But see, what you don't know is you haven't done your homework and went back in history, and you never really took a look at what was going on before taxes. The roads were better. Healthcare was better, because there is no health care. It's medical care, and it's not even care, okay? It's emergency care. And if you want to use emergency care for your health care, then your whole family is going to be in emergency care. Well, aren't they already? Oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? Jimmy has a pimple, you know? or the baby has a little fever, you could have done a warm water enema on the baby with a little bit of black diamond and the fever would be down in 5 minutes. But no, you freaked out with your husband and then you jumped into the car, you went down to the hospital. You scared the living crap out of the baby, created tons of anxiety. The baby thought it was going to die. Then you gave it over to a doctor that can only give it antibiotics. Wow, there's a lot of intelligence there, I'd say. The reality is I need to do these consultations, and we're going to be doing one right now. And it's called Real People, Real Healing, okay? You know what? Let's put it this way. There's one thing to have a big mouth like me, and then there's another thing to offer a money-back guarantee on consultations and the treatments we do. And even the courses that I do, I have a guarantee behind it. You know, you've got to put your massive personal action into it. But the reality is, you know what? Don't offer things if you can't offer a guarantee. And understand something. Find a practitioner that will guarantee their work, that will also say, guess what? You can call me anytime and I'll answer your questions. You can challenge me. But the reality is you need to challenge yourself too, and you need to get that. I understand that only 1 out of 1,000, maybe 1 out of 10,000 people are actually buy into my BS, and I get it. I get it that, you know, that I'm a you-know-what disturber and I stir things up. But the reality is if we don't stir things up, if we don't challenge ourselves, and we don't do something new, we're not going to get something new. I mean, you know, if you have the same thoughts as everyone else, you're just going to get the same thing. So the reality, what the heck are you doing? What the heck? Go find your passion, your purpose, your uniqueness. We're all unique, okay? We've all been blessed by the creator of the universe. And go back and get your gift and then start gifting the world with it, all right? Quit your job and find your passion. That's what I've done. And I'd really like to do that for everyone. Do you know how satisfying it would be if I could help hundreds of thousands of people find joy on this planet and not believe that you have to struggle to get to heaven, you have to struggle for money, you have to struggle for love. Forget the struggle, that just sucks, you know? And it sucks the energy out of you and it makes you sick, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring on Stuart, I'm gonna bring on Georgetta, and we're going to talk to Stuart, and we're going to talk about his situation. He talked for maybe 1 minute. I said, look, let's do a real people, real healing. And that's what we're going to do. All right. So, hey guys, how you doing?
Doing great. Thank you, Daryl.
Well, thank you. Now you're going to have to speak a little louder. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Stuart, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing all right.
How old are you?
66.
66. Okay. All right. How much do you weigh?
200 pounds.
Okay. What's your height?
5'11" and a quarter.
Okay. Thank you. Now, listen, everyone. In this planet, on this planet, you need to be a detective. If you're not a detective and you're not going to ask questions, then you're not going to move things forward. Be a detective. Okay. And don't be afraid to question your practitioner, to challenge your practitioner. And guess what? If they get angry at you or they get anxious, just know this. They're not making it, they're faking it. Okay, now Stuart, let's talk about your situation. What's going on, my friend?
I've had a trach for the last 2.5 years that stemmed from a motorcycle accident.
Okay, so he's had a trachea, okay, operation, everyone. Okay, all right, you see? Okay, so what happened? Can you tell me what happened, sir?
Well, I had 5 broken ribs and both of my collarbones on the left side were broken. And
okay, Georgetta, I need you to put the phone closer to him, please.
Okay.
All right, so you had what? 5 broken ribs and your collarbone was broken.
Correct.
Okay.
And, did not need surgery.
You didn't need surgery. Okay.
No. And then the doctors said, would you like to try some morphine to relieve you from the pain? And I said, well, I've never had it before.
So then they put you on morphine. Okay.
Right.
All right.
I remember 3 days for the next 6 weeks is all.
So you only remember 3 days out of 6 weeks. Now understand something, everybody. Okay. There are so many other things that you can use naturally to help to reduce your pain. Like one thing is the Lionheart breathing, putting a slight smile on your face. And I know you don't believe that, but that'll reduce your pain as well. But the reality is there's lots of natural things you can do. So what happened was you took the morphine and then you basically blanked out for 6 weeks.
Correct. I had a reaction with the morphine, and then they induced me into a coma for 2 weeks. Apparently, at one time, I had flatlined and came back out.
Okay, so you went into a coma for 2 weeks, and at one time, you even flatlined. Now, does everybody understand that this happened because the morphine, you need to get this, I'm not telling you not to do it, but the morphine numbed him out. To numb yourself out, you must bring down the spirit vibration. You must bring down the energy. You must bring down the heartbeat. You must bring down the brain. Listen, if you induce a coma, you're inducing a coma in all your organs. All right? And it's really tricky. That's why you sign papers that if anything happens, okay? All right? Go ahead.
Well, so they incubated me, and apparently they were incubating me and taking it out and incubating me again multiple times.
So they were incubating you multiple times. Okay, all right.
Right.
Okay.
And apparently it caused scar tissue to my vocal cords, so my vocal cords now are paralyzed shut.
Okay, here's the deal. Can I say something? Thank you, Stuart. Guess what, guys? There isn't a drama, accident, surgery, or infection that doesn't cause inflammation, that doesn't cause scar tissue formation. And guess what? You can remove all scar tissue without surgery. I don't care if it's a fibroid, a tumor, okay, arthritis, or he's got scar tissue in his vocal cords and his vocal cords are frozen. Now understand this. We know how to actually bring them right back to life. Remember something, scar tissue, okay, is the absence of spirit energy, blood flow, lymph flow. As soon as you lovingly pull the fibers apart that are stuck together and you get the energy flow in, automatically, guess what? You come back to normal. Now, here's the greatest thing. Guess what? When you get scar tissue, okay, because guess what? You know what old age is? They call old age. It's scar tissue. It's in your hips. It's in your spine. It's in your ankles. It's in your liver. Yeah, come on. It's just scar tissue. You can reverse it. You can bring back the life force to anywhere. We're going to prove to him, and I'll tell you, Stuart will come back on sometime, and I will prove it to Stuart that he will have his vocal cords back, okay? So understand that. But what happened, Stuart? You want to keep going?
Well, after the 6 weeks, they just took the trach out, put a bandage over the hole, said it'll be...
So they took your trachea out,
right,
and then they put a bandage over the hole.
And said it would heal within itself within 3 weeks.
And they said it would heal within 3 weeks. Okay, all right.
Well, apparently they didn't do a scope to find out the conditions of my vocal cords, because I had to go to the emergency room about 5 different times with difficulty breathing, and all they did was treat me for breathing treatments, and they didn't scan or anything until the 5th time, which there was finally a doctor that knew what he was doing and did the scan, and then they did an emergency trach again.
All of this is about scar tissue, everyone. And all of this is also about when he was in the hospital, he got McDonald's food, okay? So the reality is we are spirit beings, and everything that we do must be based on light and frequency. Are you getting that? Your drink, your food, what you think, and the therapy. If the therapy is not increasing, okay, the energy flow, like right off the bat, where are you? You're in Florida. Where are you, in Florida?
Yes.
Well, then I would tell you, Georgetta, he needs to go and see Debbie and get Cellsonic. That's a given. But we'd want to do non-surgical, and that's a technique, everyone, where we give, all my therapists around the world give a money-back guarantee that the first treatment, we will accomplish more in the first treatment than all the other treatments combined, no matter what else you've done. Now, that might be a little bit more stretching it, but understand I've been doing this now for 40 years. The reality is it's only scar tissue, and even chiros don't understand it. Massage therapists don't understand it. You can't use your hands and actually remove scar tissue. You cannot adjust a person, a chiropractic adjustment, and get rid of scar tissue. You have to use an elbow technique that I put together called Wolf Non-Surgical. And has Georgetta done any of that on you yet, the non-surgical?
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
Has Georgetta done any Wolf Non-Surgical on your neck or your throat area yet, or also your ribs to open up your breathing?
No, she hasn't done it.
Okay, well, I will be explaining her step by step and how to do this, okay? But I will tell you, if she goes in and just does your rib area, I hope you know that minimum 25% you'll have extra oxygen, and it could be up to 70%. And that's in the first treatment, Stuart, that you'll be able to get more oxygen in with your breathing, okay? Now, as far as your whole neck goes, okay, understand something. I have a gentleman coming that has cervical dystonia. Okay, now cervical dystonia is where the neck, okay, has turned into a rock. And he's going to be coming, and I'm going to be doing a 2-hour session on him. And he's now like this, okay, because so much pain in his neck, it's totally blown his nervous system out, okay? And I'm going to prove that in 6 weeks to 3 months, we'll totally turn this gentleman around. He will no longer be shaking, have anxiety, and he will not have this so-called cervical dystonia. They're always going to give a name to everything that you can hardly even say, and it makes no sense, and it's always scar tissue, displaced calcium, or crystallization. They want health to be a mystery because they want to own you. That's the bottom line. Okay, so tell me what you've done for yourself so far.
I've had 12 different procedures trying to stretch the vocal cords to break up.
Okay, great. He's had 12 different procedures to stretch the vocal cords. Now, you think after once, twice, or maybe 3 times, you'd stop that nonsense. The reality is every time you try to take fibers, now these are muscle fibers that are dehydrated and stuck together like super glue, and you try to stretch them, you're doing more micro tearing and you're creating more inflammation. I hope you know that.
Well, it was improving after each one until the last 2 or 3 of them, and it started getting worse. So.
Okay, I want to say something. It improves right after because they stretched it. And then guess what? It creates inflammation. So then it causes dehydration, and then it only gets worse. So understand, it's very rare that you'll ever see that it'll improve because you've got to pull. Look, I'm going to show you. Can you see my hand?
Yes.
Okay. So your fibers at one time, okay? At one time, the muscle fibers in your trachea, the muscle fibers in your neck were all like this. They allowed blood flow, energy flow through every fiber. Then what happened was with the accident and trauma, okay, every trauma you go into contraction, you go into inflammation. So when that happens, that creates acidity. That acidity is like super glue. And with contraction, things pull together, right? You get that, right? So if contraction, we pull it together, and then the stress, the adrenaline, the cortisol, the histamine, that gets in there because it goes to wherever it needs to for the rescue. That acts like super glue. So now the fibers are stuck together. How are you going to get them apart? We're talking about fibers. So the reality is the chance of you getting better or anyone else is unlikely. I'm going to tell you right now that you stick to this and you do this right, we're going to see a turnaround. I promise you that, okay? And there's things that we're going to teach you. Clapping, how to do the plate, okay? How to use DMSO cream and gel and pain away essential oil. Do you understand? How to do a crab stretch. Actually, opening things up, but doing the non-surgical, using the elbow on a 45-degree angle, we're able to open up the fibers to allow the flow again. I'm going to tell you something right now. I give a money-back guarantee because guess what? Because people, by the time they get to us, okay, they've been poked and prodded and they feel like they're just a piece of meat. So I get it, but we will prove that to you. Now, I need to know anything else. You want to tell me anything else about yourself?
The Mayo Clinic.
The what?
The plans for the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, I am scheduled for some surgery to clip the vocal cords, and then I also have a bronchial issue that my...
Wait now, so you have the Mayo Clinic's going to clip your vocal cords.
Correct.
Okay, let me tell you something. You go ahead and do that. But before we do anything that can be very risky, you might want to try and give this a chance. And what else are they going to do? Oh, bronchial problem. Well, can I say something? With all the drugs, with all the inflammation and infection.
It's the bronchial tube. It's collapsed once they take out the tracheotomy. And it's called, I can't remember, the subglottic airway as scar tissue that has created, instead of 20 millimeters, it's only 3 millimeters.
Okay,
around.
I just want to say this. You do whatever you want. When is the surgery actually going to happen?
In June.
In June. Okay, well, Georgetta, he needs Cellsonic, and you need to go and work with Debbie and do the non-surgical, and we can go through the nutritional part, but I'm going to tell you something. It's incorrect. The scar tissue will leave if you work on this, if you want to. If you don't want to, go have the surgery. We are never going to tell anybody what to do. We are just going to give people options. And if you don't have a life-threatening situation, why wouldn't you give yourself just a little bit more time? That'll be up to you. We can talk about this after this session. Okay?
That's fine.
But the reality is this, I get it. But the reality is how many surgeries have you had now?
How many what?
How many surgeries have you had?
12.
12 surgeries. How's it going?
Same as usual.
Okay, I'm just saying, I'm not saying anything. I'm not making decisions for anybody. I don't cure anybody. I don't make people's decisions. I don't tell them what to do. It's your body. It's your life. The reality is the human body is the greatest creation on this planet. And we can heal from anything. But first we got to wrap our head around it, slow our horses down, and think about logic. Now, let me ask you a question. How much water do you drink a day? And what kind of water?
Bottled water, mostly, or filtered water.
Bottled water has 125 chemicals in it. Bottled water comes in a plastic jug usually, and plastic is made from petroleum. Did you ever drink some water from a plastic bottle and you could taste the plastic? Well, that is not plastic. That is carcinogenic. Understand, if you want to heal, you'll want to use structured water. That's where you can pour your bottled water or use tap water, but you got to structure it so that you'll have 1,000% better hydration. You're beef jerky. So if you're beef jerky, you need to hydrate. So how much water do you drink on a bad day?
32 ounces or more.
Okay, so guess what? In a situation like yours, it's 4 to 5 quarts. So you aren't even 25% of what you need to be to have a healing happen in the human body. So just so you know, if you want to drink 1 quart of water, which is 32 ounces, that is enough. Are you ready for this? That is enough to keep a 65-pound person alive. That's science. That's real science. You can take it to the bank. Just because you don't drink water, your friends don't drink water, take a look at your friends, take a look at the world. They're all beef jerky. They're all dehydrated. Their eyes are burning. Their joints are stiff. Okay, their bowel movements aren't great. We need water. The body is 70% water. Your brain, okay, is 90% water. And your brain will fire up when you have anxiety and stress, and it will fire up, and that's where we get brain damage. That's where we get depression. A lot of depression is caused just because we don't drink enough water, because the brain uses more energy in the human body than anything else, and it overheats. But people don't get that, okay? All right? The best water system in the world, I just said, is structured water. Everyone, because I will actually put my structure unit under a tap everywhere I go, and you're going to think I'm nuts. Okay? All right? All right? So the reality is this. Structuring comes before filtering. If you want to filter your water, that's great, but the bottled water industry is the biggest scam in the world. You want to go buy Fiji water? You just got sucker punched. It's structured water. Rain is structured water, and when it comes down, why aren't the chemtrails and the acid rain burning out the crops, the birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees, the microorganisms? Because it's structured. Structuring is God created, and we create it with our structure unit that you can see on our website. And it never breaks down, doesn't take batteries. I'll give you a 90-day money-back guarantee that's going to blow your mind. You'll never go drink any other water again. Structured water hydrates into the cells 1,000% better, and guess what? It detoxifies better than any other water. There we go. So let's talk about your diet, okay? What did you eat this morning?
Sausage, egg, and cheese croissant.
What?
Sausage, egg, and cheese croissant.
Okay, well, that's enough to kill anyone. Okay, that's not even food. A sausage, egg, cheese, croissant. Now, let's talk about it. First of all, sausage, okay, so many chemicals in it, all right? Next thing, the sausage probably is pork. Don't eat pork. Pigs don't sweat. The Jewish people do not eat pigs. It's not a great thing to do. They do not sweat. They're very toxic. There's no such thing as healthy pork. Next thing, you took the croissant, which is flour product, which is a refined carb that acts just like sugar, and you mixed a carb and a protein together. When you do that, it's guaranteed rotting in the system. Now you got the cheese and you got the pork, which is 2 proteins. You never eat 2 proteins at a meal. That cheese, sausage, croissant, okay, actually is rotting in your stomach right now. And it will come out as a stinky bowel movement. Now, somebody said here, go vegan. Don't ever go do not be a vegetarian. Vegetarians are unhealthy. They eat Beyond Meat, fake meat products, fake cheese products, crackers, peanut butter. You want to have if your diet, sir, was based on 80% whole plant-based, Georgetta, you need to go through the 4 pillars, the exercises, the nutraceuticals, and you need to go through the whole plant-based diet with him and the mirror work. The mirror work so he can start working on loving himself so he doesn't make hateful decisions like take a knife to me again. So let's try to see. I'm telling you, why would people do 12 surgeries and still say I've got no results? Because we are conditioned to dishonor ourselves. Stuart, this is not personal, but understand that. And everybody needs to get this. I am not for vegetarianism. Stop it. Vegetarians are not well. I was a vegetarian. I was anemic. I didn't have any energy. I eat whole plant-based, high vibrational foods and high vibrational. I don't take supplements. I take nutraceuticals. I spent 40 years getting the highest vibrational nutraceuticals. Nobody has higher. I'm telling you. And if they do, I'll drop mine and go get theirs. That's it. Everything's about electricity. Everything's about light. Everything is about energy. If you don't have energy, you don't heal. You don't get out of bed. That's it. If you don't have energy, your life sucks. So the reality is every time they cut you open, okay, Stuart, they're creating more scar tissue. They will never end. This will never end. You are in a very bad situation. Every time that knife goes in, it terrifies your cells. They go into shock. They create adrenaline, histamine. They crystallize and scar tissue wraps around them. Every time that your cell is freaking out, the outer layer of the wall of the cell gets thick, doesn't allow nutrition in or toxins out, and you shut down. And that's the same thing that happens when you have anxiety. You say, I've got depression. No, your brain shuts down. There's no depression. And if you've been on any depressive meds, Stuart, because of this, just understand there's only one side effect, and that's the side effect of suicide. That's right. They did a major study. This wasn't me. Big Pharma did. And this was only 8 months ago. And they came out and said there's only one side effect of taking depressive meds, and that is suicide. They have to call up everybody now that takes them and say, hey, do you feel like you're suicidal? And if they say no, then they're allowed to keep taking them. Isn't that something? Welcome to the world, and understand something, Stuart. They're going to keep taking pieces from you until there's nothing left. So you can buy into my BS, my belief systems, change your diet, go on a whole plant-based diet, take our nutraceuticals like our calcium ion therapy, our IGF-1 300,000, and take our C60, do our fiber clear systemic enzymes to bring the scar tissue down, take the daily cleansing tea to get the cork out of your butt, because I guarantee you you're backed up, okay? And then maybe even look at the ultimate coffee enema, look at doing daily cleansing tea, like I said, in black gold. You start doing these products and you're going to see a change in your attitude, your energy, even with the way you speak. Even if we just changed your so-called diet to a high vibrational diet, your voice would change. I'm telling you right now, if you gave us 3 weeks, you had 3 non-surgical treatments, maybe 3 to 5 cell sonic treatments, you actually did a gallon of structured water with black diamond in it, and you hydrated for the first time in years, instead of only taking as much water and bottled water, which is poisonous, okay, and you only took 32 ounces. I think you're doing great. I think you're doing great for starving your body of water and nutrition. That means that you have a real spirit. That means you have a real drive. Anybody that can do 12 surgeries deserves a hero's badge, because understand something. With every surgery came some antibiotics, came a lot of drugs, and those drugs are actually in your liver and your kidneys and in your brain. So now we got to get those out, because you've got all that residue in there. So if you want, we could take a picture of you right now, and in 6 months, you would say that that is my 20-year younger brother. And you can believe it or not believe it. Remember something, I'm the only guy that's ever offered you a money-back guarantee that if we do anything new on you and you want your money back, we're giving it. So the reality is you can say, what a great sales pitch. No, I have to do this because you don't believe you can heal. So I gotta drive it into you until we can get your subconscious to actually believe that you were created by God Almighty, and anything that you created that is a disease or painful, that you have the ability to turn around. We are your cheerleader until you become your own cheerleader. So we will take you from a patient to a healer, and maybe you'll become your own practitioner so that you can start helping to heal your family and friends. That is our initiative, is to create a BraveHeart nation. I will call you back. And if you want to take this further, we'll do it. But understand something. I take nothing personal. People can like me, don't like me. They can say, I believe you, I don't believe you. But what we will do is we will make sure that, guess what? If you do this, within 10 days, 10 days, you're never going to look back. 10 days. And guess what? I didn't tell you everything was going to be turned around. I'm going to tell you that you are the miracle. I'm going to tell you that you are a lovely person, but you don't know how to love yourself. Nobody would ever allow all this to happen unless they had guilt, and they were given guilt throughout their life, and that they felt unworthy. When you fall in love with yourself and you have unconditional love for yourself, you will not let a disrespectful therapy come in and keep failing a dozen times. You know what? The old cheaper by the dozen? Well, you better feel pretty cheap to let them do this. They'll never do it to me once. I will never, ever go to surgery, because I know that, guess what? If you can make scar tissue, why can't you make beautiful connective tissue? Why can't you heal an organ? Why can't you heal bones? Why can't you heal ligaments and tendons? Why can't you? Because guess what? They told you you couldn't. So now you're going to be with the BraveHeart Nation. And guess what? We're crazy, because we're telling you that your body will heal, and that which is called God has always loved you. But guess what? You're in the way of that. You've been blocking it. Okay, so if you want to have another knife come after you, go ahead and do it. But you know what? We'll always be here. So you and Georgetta can talk this over. But if you decide you want to take this on, just know what, Stuart, I'm here. Okay, and I'll tell you something. If we do this, no matter what the outcome is, I'm going to have you come back on, and then you can tell the world that I'm a fraud. Okay, and understand something. You are the miracle. There's a beautiful little boy in there, and I need you to protect that beautiful little boy. And whatever you think you're guilty of, Stuart, okay, stop looking for people to stab you. You think about that, talk to Georgetta, and then we'll talk. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Remember something, I just put myself on the line here, okay? I will put myself on the line for you because you are my brother and I don't even know you. Georgetta is my sister. We were all created by the same creator. I don't care what color you are, what religion you are, what you speak, whether you like me or you think I'm full of it. I love you anyway. You talk to Georgetta and then we'll decide where we're going to go, okay? Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to be coming on here later with my brother, Dr. Marcel Wolf. He's one of the most in-depth researchers in light and frequency. He knows so much more about that than I do. But then, you know, I only know this much, okay? Okay? I will never humble myself down in front of any of these systems I will never humble myself down in front of a human being. I will humble myself down in front of my creator. But just know this, from the bottom of my heart, it's an honor to be with you and share with you. And I hope that you can take away something from this. And if nothing else, just know that you are loved. Okay, you've always been loved. Okay, if you have any guilt about anything, please let it go. Okay, let it go, because it's the guilt that's the chokehold that's stopping your circulation, that's growing everything from a pimple to a tumor. And I don't care who says they don't like you, who says they don't love you. I love you, and I don't even know you. Have a beautiful day.